Alrighty. Let's go cut this out. You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag. Now it's looking like something. So, welcome back to the channel. On the last episode, we got a lot more. Well, we got a lot done. Slowly gaining, so we gotta keep working on that. Boom coming out. Granted, it's Sunday, so I can't just run and get supplies as far as that hose that goes in between. I'm gonna look around. We might have a section of that just kicking around. Maybe not. I don't know. But appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing, being part of the channel, and we got a halfway decent day. A little chilly, but halfway decent. So let's see what projects we can get done today. Here comes the birthday boy. Hey, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. What do you want for your birthday? Steak dinner? You want everybody to subscribe to the channel and like the video? Good birthday gift. Yanko is 7 today. You good boy. I've probably spent the last, I don't know, hour messing around. So I got all the right bolts in that section piece. I had some short ones in that were left. Did that. There is the bolts and bushings that actually go in there. I'd really like to get the boom on. Then that's going to give me a good idea of what I'm doing. So I do not have any of these bolt sizes, not as far as that length, and I might have a pipe that they use for that bushing inside of it. So some people said you need to put a ball bearing in the other kit. That I got a piece of pipe. We're gonna work on that after we get this done. For the amount of use that we use, no. If I ran it every day, probably. But all of them that I've seen just have this, and you just replace them as they wear. So we'll go get some food and get some parts. I think that's the plan. Alrighty, lunch break and hardware store turned into a longer excursion than I thought. Went and got oil, do oil change on a work van. But got the bolts. Couldn't find anything to make a proper bushing, but brass, that should work, at least for a while. It will wear better than steel on steel. And for what we're doing, I'm not too worried. So I got 2 pieces. This one fits perfectly. That one does not go into it, but that is the right size for the hole. So let me show you. So we're gonna grind the one down, slide them together, cut them into two pieces, and then there you go. We made a bushing. Today I have felt like I've done nothing at all. Just all these little tasks that don't really add up, but here we go. Yeah, 2-piece bushings. I wish I had that lathe set up. We might have to move that out here and mess with it. Since we do have a lathe that was given to us and we've never run it, but got 2 of them. So those will go through the bars. So I could pick that one up and set it up there and slide that pipe in. And then that will be as far as I can really go till I get more, that 8-inch in between, and we figure out how we're gonna place that back into the tank. But got this out, which we got to cut, and I got 2 sections. I actually have this 90, which I started welding onto this pipe, and then I gave up. This pipe was too thin, wore out. This auger, the outside of it is actually good. I forget what it came off of. We haven't used it in years and years and years. So figure cut that and use that as my pipe for the nurse boom on that truck. on the white International with the wheel tank. Well, alrighty, let me see if I can make this happen. Okay. Oh, like a glove. That's actually pretty good. I'm surprised. But they go inside out, I believe. Right? Yeah, inside out. Good enough length. I did get the heavier washers, so hopefully they won't bend as easy like the other ones did. I'm missing a washer. Oh, they're both on one side. Duh. Whew. Okay. I am actually very surprised at how well that went together. So as you see, don't mind any of this stuff. Once we get done, we're gonna pressure wash everything and then we'll bring it back in, let it dry. And then we'll probably hit everything with some Rust-Oleum on the exterior. But as you see, that's in. So we just need a piston to hold that up, and we need the hose with some clamps. Okay, even though this is light, might be a little bit of a challenge getting it into this. Maybe, we'll see. Yeah, I got that propped up. Okay. That's probably a little further than I want to go, but so this comes through. I guess we're gonna measure and we're gonna look at how we like it. Hose goes onto that end, clamps on there, and then up to here. I was worried. I first looked at this and I said, oh crap, we gotta weld that. But that's just a plate to help reinforce when it sits on the edge of stuff so it doesn't blow holes to the bottom, which is good. But that pipe's aluminum. It goes from 8-inch to a 12-inch 90 or 10-inch 90, so we need to get a 12-inch hole to put it back into. At least that's the plan. I figured I was gonna cut this, but I don't know, I like that. It's 17, just about 17 and a half foot reach out, which makes it nice for loading tankers. They don't have to be right up tight. That other boom, you got to be right up tight, and I don't think we want to. Well, maybe we'll modify it and make it the length of that other pipe. That would give us a little more reach. But yeah, so this is what it's going to look like. It's not going to be sitting over here. As you see, we're too close to the actual fill port. This will sit out here and we'll build the base up. So lined up, damn near perfect. Hats off to Dylan Clark. See, we don't want it that tight. You can see we slope in. So Alrighty, that's sweet. So a hose, some clamps, and we got to build a clamp that's going to go over here and squeeze down on that. So just a piece of metal will bend that wraps around, 8-inch, bolt it, that way it holds it. We're just out here walking around trying to find some scrap metal that we can build a drop tube out of to put that nurse boom in. But here's where our manure pit is right now. So it's just over the second tier. I'd say we got 2 foot left in it. I think the total height is 14, so maybe another month till we have to start spreading, because this is designed where it won't overflow. It backs up into the barn. But yeah, there was some talk of changing around the manure load. We will see if that happens or not, and the unit that powers that pump. But we're out here. Somebody was out here doing something at some point recently, because they smashed the plows into the bushes. That's cool. Broke everything right off. Oh. Yeah, why we can't have nice things. Somebody was out here moving things around to compost more manure. So what do we got going on? Parts for the chain head, outside rows, our old snowplow, a Vaughn chopper pump from back in the days when we used to separate manure every day. York rake. I forgot we owned a York rake. Haven't used that in a few years, but I can't find anything. I'm looking for something like 20 inches to maybe 16 to 20 inches. I'm kind of thinking like a trash can, because it's thinner wall, and then we can cut a circle and drop it right in. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I should have looked when I was at the hardware store. So I'm gonna do some searching this week. Probably stop at a hardware store and just see. But that's 17 long, which is pretty neat. And we just gotta figure out a basin for that to actually sit down into. So won't be too crazy. Come up a few inches, drop that tube down further into the tank, and just weld it. There's no real weight on it. That way, if there's a little bit of manure and we get done nursing, when we swing it back over and we set it down, that manure will just drain back into the tank. Or if for some reason you turn it on, like I've done with the other tank does have a return back in, but if you turn it on and start spreading aggressively, it picks it up some and then goes all over your tank. Yeah, done that quite a few times. But alrighty, I guess well, yeah, I gotta reinforce this more. I want this to go up and along the rail to give it some more support. So we'll get the tractor started though. We're gonna cut this flange out, which goes on the other tank, and we'll start cutting this apart. So that should be good to go. This is the front half of the nurse boom set up off my other tanker trailer. The pipe, if you haven't watched previously, the pipe was shot, so we're gonna make a new pipe. This had a flange, but you can never get the flange apart. When I was talking to Bradley Hill, when I asked him, how did you get yours apart when you replaced it? They said we cut it. So I'm gonna cut that out. We're gonna cut the welds out, and then we're gonna slide that other one in and weld it in there. Okay. Gotta get that other piece off of it though. Flange is off. Alrighty, people do ask in the comments what I got for a welder. Miller 252. got it in 10th grade for Christmas. When people say I don't know how to weld, I honestly don't know how to weld. I got a welder and I just started sending it. So yeah, but that's been really good. So that would have been 2008. Hypertherm 45 XP plasma cutter, top notch. I got that when I bought the box that's on the Mac. So that would have been three years ago, to cut the frame out. Absolutely awesome product. So let me show you what I got going on, what made me think of that. All right, plasma cutter. The consumables, plasma cutter is expensive, but the consumables is really where it gets you after a while. And I never actually keep track of how much everything is, but so here's a short tip. In the plasma cutter, you got your tip or your shield or whatnot. You got the tip inside of it, and then you got your electrode and everything else. This gets dirty and wore out because we don't have clean air, except for in the robot room. But that's a standard tip. So these things start getting expensive because you're burning through tips, you're doing stuff. Extension tip. So there is part numbers on everything, but this is its whole own setup. It allows you to get into odd places. Actually, you use the same shield or the cage or whatever it's called. But now you can get in places without burning it. Big plus. I got to get some gouge tips. That's my goal for this week for working on that corn planter, gouging out those welds. But yeah, there's plenty of cheap plasma cutters that go around for like 300 bucks, 400 bucks. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's the consumables that really get you. That, I honestly don't remember what I paid for it. Maybe 2 grand, maybe a little less than 2 grand. So that's a 45. The one that cut the flange out was a 105. They make a 65, an 85, a 105, and a 125. A 105 will do just over an inch, I think. A 125 will do just over an inch and a half, thick of steel, which is wild. But I think a 125 is like 8 grand. Maybe someday, but the most I ever deal with is like, even an inch is pushing it. So, alrighty. Let's go cut this out. Cutting from the inside out because the welds are actually on the inside, and then it should just separate itself out, hopefully, and then that other tube we should be able to slide right into the same length. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, the tip really, that extension tip really helps get in there. Should be pretty well cut out of there. Okay, we're actually pretty well cut out of there, which will give us, we just got to clean that up, and the other pipe should slide into a lot of spots. Are pretty good still. So I'll run, and we can weld it on the inside and the outside, because we're never, or the inside, the outside of each side, because we're never gonna, we're not welding a flange. We're not doing a flange because clearly, even if you have the flange, it just makes it more challenging to take it apart, and then you gotta cut it anyways. And by the time this spout is probably junk, will be the time for another tanker. Which leads me back to, in the last video I said I'm probably not gonna set up another tanker ever again, so I just lied to you guys, but let me get this cleaned up. It goes this way. Gotta do a little bit more trimming. What do we got? Oh, that notch over there. Got it on. That looks pretty good, actually. I might have a little more gap in between, or depth sticking out, but that's fine. So we'll weld that in place, then we'll figure out exactly where we want to go down. if we want to make this longer or if we want to make it the same length. I'm kind of leaning towards making it the same length just because then I got to do less work to that tanker. So while we were doing that, I thought I was charging batteries, but I wasn't. So I ran out of grinder, so I said, okay, I got to keep moving. Got up here, cut out my makeshift. I wasn't very happy with that. I got this plate left from when we cut out the bottom. We're gonna weld it right in on the tank there. Weld it right to this, give it extra support. That's the plan there. There's a lot of good comments on that. Yeah, that'll help it hold a lot more. So I'll get this welded up and we'll try to keep moving. It is cool. It's like 4:45 because daylight savings time. Well, we finally got our hour of sunlight back. Stupidest thing. But yeah, it's still light out, so it will be like, I don't know if it will be 6:30 now. So in the winter, it getting dark is like your motivation goes out the window. Granted, this thing has helped me quite a bit, keeping my motivation up because I'm not working in the environment as much. But definitely, like when it's light out till like 9 o'clock, holy crap, you feel like you get a bunch of stuff done. Welding this thinner metal really isn't that much fun. So it's not as clean going this way, but yep, that will hold. We did burn through one spot there. We got a little carried away. I also filled that in, so we just gotta grind it flush and re-drill it. That was the cause of the boom picking up and having some slop when we were loading, when we were throttling up and whatnot. But that looks good. We'll drill that after. I'm gonna jump back up here, get that welded to it. We're gonna clean it up, send it. Okay. Yeah, so I had that half moon piece, welded that in. That has many layers of metal in between, many layers of weld to fill some of that gap because I wanted that flat across so that it would line up over there. But that definitely helps brace it a lot more here. A lot more. So, because yeah, there's gonna be some weight out there. Granted, when we're nursing, so when it's empty or when it's swinging out, it doesn't have as much weight. But then once you load it, once you start pumping manure, it does take quite a bit of weight through it. But the idea is that will be sitting on the tanker fill door. So yeah, take some of the weight off, but we are gaining on that. It is getting cold enough, and it is Sunday, and I do got to do some shopping for Yanko's birthday. What else we got to do? I got to do an oil change on my work van for work, and I got to put air in the tire of the chopper. So we should probably go put air in the tire of the chopper right now, do an oil change, get out of here. Yanko's birthday. Yup. Definitely having steak for him for dinner or something. So it is tomorrow, but when you see the video, it will be Yanko's birthday. So alrighty, this is progress. That's a lot of progress, a lot of little stuff. I'm learning as I'm going on this. First time doing a kit, doing a full nurse boom. The last trailer was on there. I just had to fab the trailer, the tanker to the trailer, but a lot of learning. So appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing, being part of the channel. DuffyAg.com is the merch store. Somebody said it should be in your bio. It's down in the description of every video. Yeah, go hit it up. Buy yourself something nice. You guys earned it. So appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.